Go for it.
Hey everybody, got a little bit of a different episode here for you. You will not find a person who's more influential in Central Florida, gives more back to the community than Hisam, who I've got with me here today. I'm in on this. I hope you are too. All right, everybody, like I said, I could not be more excited. This is a fun conversation we get to have right here on the Roofer's Den. Normally, we're talking about roofs, and let's be honest, not exactly the most exciting stuff in the world at times. Not the case today. I'm with a man that needs no introduction around Central Florida. Hisam is here with I'm In Events. How you doing today, brother?
I'm in, Patrick. How are you?
I love it, man. You're always in. So if you guys don't follow this guy on Instagram or Facebook, with his events, with everything he does around Central Florida, you've got to do it because this guy is in on everything. Can you tell me a little bit though, man, how'd you get started with the I'm In? Is it something that came to you years back? Were you just thinking about this would be a great idea to get people involved? Give me the background of you.
Sure. So long story short, I grew up in Central Florida. I graduated from UCF. I was an advertising and public relations major. I've always had a passion for bringing people together and showing them the time of their life. It's been ingrained with me since I was 16 years old. When I graduated from UCF, I was in the newspaper business. I was running newspapers at the University of Central Florida for a decade. And I was known as the press on events guy because I would bring people together, deliver them newspapers, catch them up to speed on the news that was going on. And then when I got out of the newspaper business, I got into other businesses as well, a franchise business. I got my license in real estate, public speaking, but I've always fallen back into the events. Mm-hmm. And to make a long story short, you may not know, or maybe you read about it. When I was 22, 20 years ago, I almost died with a near fatal case of pneumonia. I was on my deathbed for 2 months. And it was like self-inflicted. A lot of things happened in my life that led me down that dark path. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I survived it. A miracle surgery saved me. And that's a long story short. And then from there, I decided that I'm going to stress less, still work hard, but I'm going to enjoy my life because you never know when it can end, especially at a time like this when so much crazy things are happening, right? So I always go back to 20 years ago when I was on my deathbed, and I always remind myself to help others live a great life, a fun life, no matter what's happening around in the world.
I think it speaks to perspective. It sounds like you maybe had a perspective change during that time of your life. And I talked to my clients and our employees about it that, if you don't close a deal one day, maybe you don't make as much money on a deal as you thought you should have made, whatever the situation is. It's not life or death. We're not hurling heavy objects into space. The world's not going to end. Count your blessings for what you currently have right now. Keep it in perspective. It sounds like that's what you were able to do during that difficult time of your life.
Absolutely. And to answer your question finally on how I'm In came about,
yeah.
I've had a friend for 30 years, and I would always ask him, his name's Alec Mesdak. It's no secret. In 2012, after 30 years, asking him to let's go out and have fun. And he'd be wishy-washy. I said, Alex, we've been best friends for 30 years. We're still best friends forever. Yeah. And I said, look, going forward, when I ask you if you want to do something, all you have to do is say I'm in or out. I was at my parents' house at the time. This light bulb went up in my head. I went to my computer and I changed everything on all social media, personally and professionally, to I'm In. I changed the company from Press On Events to I'm In Events. I consider it to be one of the largest, self-proclaimed brands and slogans in Central Florida. Mm-hmm. And I use it on everything. So even if people don't know Hisam, they know the I'm In brand. And it's really simple. If you want to come to an event or you want to be a part of, my life and my circle of people, just say I'm in. And if not, it's totally okay.
I think it's amazing what you've been able to accomplish because you not only give back to the community, which of course we're going to talk about through your amazing events, but just the motto itself is something that people should adopt more in their life because I see so many people that are paralyzed by indecision. They don't want to go do something. They go back and forth on it. When we talk to a lot of contractors, so it's, hey, should I go out there and knock on that door? I don't know. Am I going to upset somebody today? Go in on it, man. If you got to be doing a job, then go all in on it. Give it what you got, brother. because that's the only way you're going to see results is if you show up. That's the first thing you got to do is you got to show up to whatever the heck you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, whether there's a dent in the roof, right? Or an issue at an event coming up. I mean, you got to deal with it. You got to keep working on it. You got to keep striving for more. It's been ingrained in my family since day one, and it'll probably be ingrained for the rest of my life.
As a successful entrepreneur then, I mean, you've created a brand, like you said, and I agree with you, one of the most recognizable there is in the state, synonymous with amazing events and amazing people. Can you take me through a day in the life of you? How do you wake up early? Are you always thinking about events day in, day out? Kind of run me through what the life is like for you as you tackle so many different moving parts in your day.
Sure. So for the last 10 years, really Black and White Weekend has been my life, has been my focus. I know we'll touch upon it more, but It's not just a fun event. It's also an event to raise money for kids with cancer. But, I'm up personally. I know people that get up at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. God bless them. I wake up at 7:30 in the morning, and the first thing I do is hit the gym. I've got great trainers, a great nutritionist, because at the end of the day, even my dad says it every day, without your health, you've got nothing. Okay. Mm-hmm. All the money in the world, all the friends in the world means nothing if you don't have your health. So gym, 5-6 times a week. I eat really well. And that wasn't always the case. We've all gone down deep, dark paths where we kind of lose ourselves, but you got to pick yourself up and go back. After that, I pretty much, hit the computer and reach out to my sponsors, to the charity to see what they need, to reach out to the hotel where the events are being hosted and just keep them up to date. I mean, it's a constant struggle and a constant work ethic to keep this thing going, and it all culminates, on the big day, which is May 15 of this year for the 11th Black and White Weekend. Also, I have my real estate license, so I work with different people for either land development or land sales, or a friend that's looking to buy a house or sell a house. Aggie, who introduced me to you, she's one of the sponsors with Fiddler's Roofing. So anytime someone has a roof issue, I tag her in my social media, and I get her, to go. One of my main sponsors has an event on a Thursday, so I'm helping him promote that event. My trainer's looking for people to help them get in shape, so I'm helping him. I feel like I'm always promoting. My brain never stops, I don't even sit down and watch Netflix. I'm always thinking, what can I do to get more people involved? What can I do to raise more money for charity? And you know what? For the last 11 years that I've been doing this, for me, money doesn't motivate me. People motivate me. And that's no joke. I have an 11-year proven track record on it. So I'm just constantly just trying to function and keep things going as best I can, and I'm very happy for everyone else that's doing the same.
So let me ask you this. Have you found in your life that as you've given more, you've been able to get more in return? I think people are kind of afraid to kind of give part of themselves because they feel like maybe they're going to get taken advantage of. But it sounds to me like as you've given more to the community, people have in turn given more back to you.
Yeah, and you don't even think about it. I know there's a saying out there, you give to get, but if you just give and don't worry about getting, the getting comes automatically. If that makes any sense. I mean, I'm living proof. We've raised over close to 6 figures for kids battling cancer in the hospitals locally in Central Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the connections and the support that I have if I wasn't doing that personally. I think everybody should give. And the thing is, I'm always thankful to everybody that does. I mean, we've raised like over $1,000 this year alone during a pandemic, because awesome. People are throwing money at the charity, and they know because it's a small local charity that all that money is going directly into their account to help these kids.
Well, let's jump into that. No further ado or anything. Let's talk about Black and White Weekend. You said it's May 15th. Is that right?
Back May 15, 2021. We had to push it back twice in 2020, of course,
Of course.
But I feel like, you and I and everybody else knows what's out there, knows what's going on. We know what precautions we need to take.
Yes.
And I'm hell-bent over making this thing happen finally. People are ready, We're very well aware of what's going on out there, but people now have a choice, They can, stay put and live their life that way, or they can go out, take precautions, and still enjoy their time and support the community.
Here at the Roofers Den, we've been very vocal about this in the respect that we believe in personal liberty. If you want to make a choice to stay at home and do what you want to do there, then make that choice. And if you want to be involved in the community and get out there and take the necessary precautions, then make that choice for yourself. But I think this is one of those things that we can all agree on. Black and White Weekend provides an amazing opportunity for individuals to get out there, to socialize, to give back to a great cause, to have a time of their life. Can you dive into a little bit for someone who might be new? What goes into it? What can somebody expect, and who does it benefit?
Sounds good, man. And again, thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast to share the message, because thousands of people know what Black and White Weekend is, but I'm always striving to reach out to the thousands of people that don't.
Sure.
Okay. In 2010, Black and White Weekend was a black and white party. I was around 30 years old at that time. I was just getting started with my I'm in Events company, right? So that event was basically a vision of mine in my hospital bed before I nearly passed away. After 15 oral surgeries and one major back surgery, I envisioned the colors black and white. That was in 2000. So in 2010, I'm like, okay, I've made a full recovery. I'm so happy to be alive. Let me give back to the people that were supported me 10 years prior. So I started the Black and White Party. It was at the Rosen Plaza Hotel on International Drive here in Orlando, Florida. 150 people, mostly my family and friends that were with me 10 years prior. Okay. And then it became year 2. And in year 3, I'm like, okay, we're building steam. Let me team up with a small local charity that needs the money. Let me start charging tickets, getting sponsors involved, and building a team of committee volunteer members, which I have 23 of them, and they're all amazing, awesome, to help raise money year round, not just at the event. Then it became 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on the 10-year anniversary, right behind me, one of the awards that I'm pointing at is a proclamation from not just one, but 2 mayors deeming Black and White Weekend as one of the largest charity events in the world. And now we're here for year 11. What can people expect? It's basically a really fun event where everybody dresses to the 9s or 10s or 11s in black and white. You have to wear all black, all white, or black and white, including the shoes. Believe it or not, it's that strict, right? Now, with who knows what's going to happen in 4 months from now, but if we got to wear black and white masks, so be it. Okay. If we have to spread out and limit the attendance and have everybody outdoors, so be it. But basically we have, over a dozen forms of entertainment. You've got music inside, you've got a band outside, you've got stilt walkers, you've got your caricature artists. You name it, we got it. Okay. So you come into the event all dressed up. It's at a hotel. It's on Saturday evening. You can even book a hotel room. We want to keep everyone safe. So you come enjoy the event for a few hours. And then when you're tired, you just go up the elevator into your room, sleep it off. And the next day is a pool gathering. Okay. Words don't do justice. You go to YouTube and you can see the videos for yourself. This year may be a little bit different, but the fact is, our goal is to have it. And I'm very confident it's going to happen. Just might be a little bit different, but the premise is the same. Dress up, come, have a drink, have an appetizer, dance a little bit, go outside, network with your friends, see people you haven't seen all year, or in this case, 2 years, because that's how long it will have been since Black and White happened last, all things considered. And then you wake up the next day, you have breakfast, you go to the pool, and you talk about the night before and life in general.
There's two things that jump out to me. Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say there's 2 things that jump out to me when you say that. Like, first is, how often do people get dressed up nowadays to really be able to look your best? And it's just rare, man. I feel like unless I'm going to a wedding, I'm not really dressed into the 9s. And even then, maybe not even then if I'm not in the wedding party. But you never get a chance to, to put on that outfit, to be able to look, to look your best, to feel your best. And I think that's one of the underlying themes with Black and White Weekend is it's amazing how good people can feel about themselves having that event to look forward to, that outfit to put on. And you're doing it for a great cause. You're going out there with friends. You're being able to socialize in a time when for some people it's been a while since they've been at something like that. And they don't have that personal interaction. They've been missing that. And this kind of weekend is going to offer that to a lot of people that desperately need it.
When we pull this off, Patrick, we're going to be, as of now, the first full-blown charity event with all the safety precautions in place to make it happen for the first time since March 16, 2020. That's, over a year since people have gotten together and booked a hotel room and dressed to the 9s and came to support a charity in person, And like I said, last year we had to push it back in May. We pushed it to October. The governor in Florida opened up Florida a week before the event was supposed to take place,
Oh,
pushing it back the first time. But hey, I mean, things
week
were,
before.
really bad then,
Yeah.
and we made a moral and conscious decision to keep everyone safe and push it back to May. But now I think we have a really good foothold on what's going on. We know what we need to do to pull this off, and we're going to be one of the first to do so. I'm very confident in that.
And I think you guys are too, especially with you kind of leading the charge right there. Can we talk about what it benefits and what you do to benefit the charity there with Black and White Weekend? How does that play into the role that people will see when they go to the event?
Absolutely. So, Base Camp Children's Cancer Foundation has been around for over 35 years. They're based in Winter Park, Florida. Okay, basically a lot of our hometown. Okay, it's three ladies, a president, vice president, a communications director that runs the show over there. They're really amazing women. They're very supportive. Okay, so me and the committee, we get together once a month and we talk about how can we raise money and funds and get the word out and raise awareness for this charity. So basically, there's dozens of kids that are located in 4 different hospitals, mostly Arnold Palmer Hospital. And basically what Black and White Weekend as a whole does year round with the funds is we help pay for their dinners, their movies night out, the parents to have a date night, away from all the stresses that they're dealing with their children. Okay, and then also the money goes towards providing gifts to these kids, and we're really proud because last year Emma McDonald, who is a 5-time, Patrick, believe it or not, 5-time cancer survivor,
5 times.
Weekends funds are helping pay for her college tuition. We just posted a picture the other day to remind everybody, guys, a lot of events have been canceled, but one thing remains the same. Black and White Weekend is here to stay. And the funds still, even without an event, we raised nearly $10,000 without Black and White Weekend to help pay for college tuition. A girl that 2 years ago, she basically overcame chemotherapy. Her dream was to have an iPad 2. Black and White Weekend bought her an iPad 2. Okay. 4 years ago, in the Base Camp office, we raised money to help build a Black and White Weekend kitchen. You go in their office and you'll see to the left is a Black and White kitchen. Black and White Weekend helped raise money for them. And, I'm like this all the time, man, but I drank
love it
before the gym. So.
No. So, I mean, it's such an amazing feeling. I mean,
that many people don't know about,
They don't. And I think it's because a lot of individuals are afraid to give back. In our industry, I would challenge roofing contractors if you're out there. It's an industry that makes a lot of money if you're doing things the right way. Individuals like this and these kind of organizations are money well spent for kids out there in the community and the local community in Florida that need help. Especially right now, there are a lot of people out there that are down and out on their luck. Helping an organization out like this, I mean, you can't go wrong. And I want to ask you, how does it feel, man? I mean, 11 years into this thing, you've helped countless numbers of people. Do you ever just stop and take a breath and go, man, you know what? I've really made an impact on some lives here in Central Florida. Do you ever just kind of sit back and say, I'm doing what I wanted to do and have that sense of, accomplishment, really?
Yeah, honestly, man, it really took me 10 years to get to that point. And after the 10th year, when this whole pandemic came along, it not just for me, I mean, it affected everybody around the world, rich, poor, healthy or not, right? Mm-hmm. So just say, my hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's been affected. A lot of people have been affected more than others, right? But at the end of the day, we just got to keep pushing and keep supporting each other as best we can. And that's what I'm trying to do. But after 10 years, yes, I have taken a bit more of a break. I mean, we were kind of forced to take a little bit of a break because of what's been happening, But yeah, I have taken time to reflect. I'm always thanking the charity and the committee and the sponsors and every single individual attention. I mean, I can't thank them enough. So yeah, I do take a break. I mean, the gym is my escape. My family's my escape. Supporters like you and this podcast is my escape. So yeah, I mean, I'm doing better.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story here. I know me and you have not talked about this beforehand, okay? So I can tell you, I'm going to tell you a story about you that even you don't know, all right? And this is a God's honest truth, okay? I have a good friend of mine who actually introduced me to I'm in Events, had to be probably about 6 years ago. and her name is Paula Wyatt. And she is,
Paula.
Paula, exactly. It's Possible Events, correct?
Absolutely. She's an amazing woman.
Amazing. So she is actually the one who introduced me over to I'm in Events. And I remember at the time I was doing some work with foreclosures, real estate, stuff along those lines, and just had incredible things to say about what you do and the type of events that you put on. I remember thinking at the time, I had met her at the gym, and I was thinking, man, if she's saying this, I've seen some of the events that this woman puts on. If she's saying she's impressed with his stuff, let me tell you what, this guy knows what he's doing. And so I want to dive into a little bit about that, because you do know what you're doing with this stuff, which means that you know how to handle, I'm not going to call it adversity, but change. There's always something that's, maybe the last day it comes unexpected. All right. How do you personally deal with the unexpected when you're putting on a huge event like this?
Oh man, I got to take a step back every time something happens, but and it's guaranteed that every year something happens, but you're so busy trying to pull off the event that you forget that things are about to, things might not go the way you had planned, right? Patrick, every single year for the last 10 years, something goes wrong, right? And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I needed that reminder, because in 4 months from now, something may go wrong. So I need to take a step back and take a deep breath. And to answer your question, every time something goes wrong, I take a deep breath. The committee takes a deep breath. Okay, this is the problem. What do we need to do to fix this problem? Okay. So one year, for example, it's such a small example, but
tell me.
5 years ago, the music shut off because the DJ speaker was overblown. And I'm freaking out, because when the music stops, the drinking and the fun stops, right? That's a common thing in events. So, luckily my support team was like, hey, let's just turn on YouTube and play music from there till we get this fixed. So we actually was running YouTube music for a year,
I like it, man.
Some people come in and they're not dressed the part, like it's a black and white event. And for years, one person might show up in a blue dress. It's like, you can't come in if you're dressed in a blue dress. You just got to be kind about it. So we have backup black and white T-shirts or dresses that people can purchase. We donate the money to charity, and then they can come in with the black and white. I really got to think about all the other issues, but if you can't please everybody. We do our best to please everybody, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't let it stress me or worry me anymore. There's always a refund policy, or come back next year type thing. I worked so hard to build up Black and White Weekend to where it is, and I've been through hell and back with this event in terms of pulling it off. And only people only see the finished product, but do not see what it takes to get to that finished product. I've got a couple $1,000s worth of Hollywood themed decorations in my office right now that I just cannot wait to put out there for the public to reunite and see this stuff. So I take a step back. I realize I address the issue immediately, and we come up with a way to figure out how we can overcome it. Because by that point, the event is halfway through, and most people don't even notice what the issue is.
I think that one of the things that's special about you and why your event has been so successful is because you're solutions oriented. When you see the problem, like you said, you're looking for, okay, how are we going to fix this immediately? Music's off, we're going to YouTube. We're making a solution. We're not dwelling on the problem. A lot of my listeners that are out there right now, they're doing contractual work. They're going out there, and they're things that are going to happen. There are always going to be problems that present themselves. I always have the 5-year, 5-minute rule is what I tell people. If you're not going to worry about it in 5 years, don't give it more than 5 minutes of worry. Doesn't mean you don't give it, concern. Doesn't mean you don't address it for more than 5 minutes, but you don't worry about it. You don't let it consume you for more than the time than it should. As what you've heard right here, work towards what is the solution. Okay, the problem is already there. Now we've got to figure out what is the solution to go ahead and solve it. And I think that's one of the reasons that you've been able to be so successful, is dealing with some of that adversity, some of that unexpected. A pandemic hits, and now you've got to change the way the event is done. But you make those adjustments to get it done, and you're doing something that no one else is doing in Florida. As you said, you're the first, if not you're the first. And so I can't imagine a better cause for people to get behind, not only because you're given to a great organization, but because it's about time that we get back out there and do events like this so that we can help people. People can interact with one another and have a reason to get out there and be excited, man, to get out there and enjoy themselves, because there hasn't been a lot of joy in the past year that events that people have been putting on.
Yeah, and thank you, Patrick. I mean, everything you said is on the money, man. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. I'm learning from you right now, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to take everything you just said. One, and you're absolutely right. I look back at the last 10 years and I really reflect on, I think to myself, I can't believe I put through myself and my team through some of the things that I put them through. But it's because of the passion and drive I have to be the very best at what I do. And everybody has their niche. Everyone has their forte, and if they just focus on that and not worry so much about what everyone else is doing, or at least just be aware of what everyone else is doing and support each other. That's the beautiful thing. I mean, Black and White Weekend built itself up to 1,000 people supporting each other. I mean, it doesn't. What's also like really special about Black and White Weekend, and Patrick, would love to have you there this year. You'll see when you walk in, it's all ages, all work backgrounds, all political stances, all religions. I mean, every people from all over the world originally, are at that event, and everybody is getting along with everybody. And that's one thing I pride myself on the most.
So let's talk about that. How does somebody get involved with Black and White Weekend? Is there sponsorship? Is it patronage? Is it silent auction? Is it just showing up? Tell me about the process, the levels, and how somebody would get involved with Black and White Weekend right now.
Absolutely. So, it's a really simple process. Okay. I actually just posted it for your guests to see, but, I posted the website, but generally you go to blackandwhiteweekend.com and literally every little piece of information regarding the event is there. It's a ticket. You purchase a ticket. Believe it or not, I know you're going to get shown. An event of this caliber is less than $50 to attend.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible.
So I wanted to make it affordable. We wanted to make it affordable so anyone could come and attend and support the charity and each other. The sponsorships, because we've been working on this event for over a year, I mean, they range, again, inexpensively from $350 to $3,500, half of what a normal charity event would charge. Because, again, we're just looking for support and for people to attend and to get their business name out there and come support the cause, okay? And then there's hotel rooms. The website, you can book a hotel room. It's only $129 plus tax. Again, very affordable, especially come May in the summer when everyone's going to start getting out there again and staying in hotels. And then we have a silent auction at the event,
Great.
100% of the silent auction proceeds, 100% of the online proceeds, and a portion of the proceeds from the ticket sales all goes directly to Base Camp at the end of the day. And from now till May 15, and from May 15 until 2022, we're constantly doing things in between, keeping things in motion. We have networking events before and after Black and White Weekend to keep people engaged and involved and keep the awareness with Black and White Weekend and Base Camp. So basically, the website's got all the information. You come with a ticket, you dress in black and white, and you leave the rest to us.
I'm looking at the website right now, guys. It's very simple. Blackandwhiteweekend.com. I mean, you can't get much more simple than this. It's going to give you all the information on it. You get the ticket right there online, and then you're set to go. You just print, and then you're ready to go to the event. I mean, you're ready just to have the time of your life, and you know that the money is going towards a great organization. I'm going to pledge $350 to you right now. I'll do that first level of sponsorship, at least for now. So we'll do that to start it out with My Claims Care and the Roofers Den here. Okay. So we'll talk and we'll connect afterwards, and we'll take care of that, okay? He broke up.
Base Camp will be very happy.
Oh, yeah, you broke up there for a second, but yeah. So we're good with it?
Oh, absolutely. We really appreciate it. Can you still hear me right now?
I can hear you, man. Yeah, absolutely. So I like what you guys are doing here, man. And I think that it's just necessary in the time that we have and the times that we're living in more than ever to get people together. I think there's something to be said for shaking somebody's hand and, laughing and being around good people. And from what everything that I've heard about your event, you bring in good quality people to have a great time with one another. And networking sure is a part of it, but it's just fellowship and friendship as well. And if you can't get behind something like that, man, I don't know what your problem is, because it's everything that is right, that's still right in the world. I think that's something very special that you've been able to do. So have you all? I know you had this kind of the change in your life, obviously, when you got sick. But what were you like, as a kid growing up? Did you grow up here in Central Florida? Has this always been home to you? Give me a little background on kind of how you came to be here in Orlando.
Sure. So my mom and dad actually live 5 minutes from me. They were
Love it.
both born in Lebanon,
Okay.
um, only 5 minutes from each other. And then they moved to Canada and they had 4 kids. I have an older brother. His house is 5 houses down from me. I have a little brother as well. He's 5 minutes from me. And then my older sister, she lives in Dubai, in the Middle East, near Lebanon, where my parents are from. So we're a really close knit family. I went to grade school and high school here, then community college, and then UCF. So I grew up here. I mean, all my friends and my family and my home and my business is all here. I've always loved to travel outside of Florida, but Orlando has always been home for me, always.
I love that,
Um,
man.
Pretty simple, like where I'm from and what I'm all about.
So I want
That's the background.
So I want to talk to you a little bit, kind of switch the topics a little bit to business, okay? Because
Okay.
you've been able to be successful in many facets of your life. I know real estate being one, obviously with the black and white events, and I know others as well. We have a lot of business owners that watch the show, and they've had a tough time the past year. Some of them, maybe they've had a bad year because of COVID. A lot of my roofing contractors have had a tough time adjusting to that. What kind of advice would you give to business owners out there that they're going into 2021 here? They're trying to turn that ship around. What kind of advice would you give to them to help them through that process?
Well, every business is different. So I'll speak about my business a little bit.
Okay.
And then hopefully that'll help others as well. But it's funny you bring that up. A lot of people reached out to me and asked me how I'm surviving. And it's all about the word pivoting. Okay. I
Okay.
have so many friends that were in the entertainment business. They got their real estate license. Okay. Or they found another part-time job to get them through. I have a guy that's he got his AC technician license, people getting their roofing and their plumbing license, whatever it took to survive. But the first advice I gave is, take advantage of what the government's offering. A lot of people filed for unemployment. A lot of people filed for the PPP. My brother owns a store. He lost his shirt. He filed for PPP. He's entitled to that money because,
Hmm.
he gave back to the government, as did, millions of other people. So I take advantage of the resources that you have, right?
Absolutely.
For me, it was constantly reminding people, who I am and what I do for the community, because I knew eventually things would bounce back. Unfortunately, it didn't bounce back as quickly as we had hoped,
Right.
right? But don't forget the people that have been supporting you and helping you, the word of mouth. I mean, again, I have a committee, a team of people that I look to for advice and support. Black and White Weekend wouldn't be where it is today without them or the charity. But man, keeping a positive mindset. I'm not perfect. Keeping a positive mindset, looking at all the different avenues that are out there to make money. I mean, people making a fortune becoming Uber drivers,
Hmm.
myself included. I signed up for Uber,
Hmm.
and I'm not ashamed by it because I lost all the events, just in an instant, and no one expected that. So
Wow.
there's so many things out there that you can do to pivot, and it's
Pivot.
the big thing is reaching out for support and not being afraid to do so. If I wanted to, I could get a full-time job just because of all the different things that I've been doing. But luckily, I had my real estate license to fall back on. So I was
Hmm.
getting into Airbnbs. I was buying and selling homes for people. The real estate market is so hot right now.
Yeah.
It's
Especially in
been
Florida.
for a while. Yeah. And I got to give you credit. I mean, your business line of work is pandemic proof because hurricanes are not going anywhere, right? And roofs do get old. I mean, I commend you guys for what you do. I thought about being a roof adjuster. No joke. I mean, you're right. They make good money, and anyone can do it if they apply themselves to that, right?
Yep.
So it's
Well,
interesting what you do, and I give you credit. But I'm not a great roofer. I'm a great event guy. So I just constantly just reached out to people for their help and support. And it's not always about me. I'm always trying to give back and see how I can support others. I mean, I have a sponsor, iTouch Orlando here in Orlando. They're one of the main sponsors, Benj Development Corporation, Apex Chiropractor.
Yep.
One of my committee members hurt her back. She's going to Apex. One guy's looking to sell his land. I sent him to my developer sponsor. And another guy is having an event at Desertland Action Park, this new huge facility with hundreds of cars. He's got a grand opening, so I'm helping him with that. You need to reach out to people for support, okay? Mm-hmm. I always tell my sponsors, I'm here for you. Not everyone takes advantage of that, but they should.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. I want to talk about, this is just my personal opinion. I'd love to hear what you think. You know, for the past 10 years, we've heard a lot about SEO and paid advertising on Facebook, Instagram, people putting and I do that. We put the paid advertising out there, and me and Kenny here, we were just filming a video a little early this morning. I think, though, there's a switch is coming. I feel it when I'm online into organic traffic for your company based on your reputation and the person that you are. Not anymore this. I think people are tired of the paid stuff. I think they're tired of the formatted stuff, you know, the commercials. I think that's just way overblown nowadays. I think what really people are real people, real connections. You're talking about Apex, somebody who partners with you to say, hey, man, I got your back. You got mine. We're going to promote one another. It's not just going to be me against the world. I just think that the market's been flooded so much with paid advertising in the past 10 years that we're going to see a switch in how people do marketing. Organic traffic, in my opinion, your reputation will be exposed more and more online and who you are. I think that's going to be the major difference in the years to come. I'd love to hear your opinion about that, what direction you see that going in.
Okay. I don't disagree with you one bit, but in my honest opinion, I think it's both, right?
Okay.
Paid advertising on Facebook, it definitely works. I've seen it work for many people, especially one of my sponsors with Modern Profits. Okay. Mm-hmm. He this is what he does. You know, he takes businesses and he gets their information out online, and he promotes the heck out of them. And I see the returns on investment. But in your defense and what you said, I think that's not even a shift. I think that's how it's always been, you know, growing business organically. Okay. And this comes to my mind. Rachel Perez, who's one of the girls with Basecamp, you know, because at one point, I mean, I almost got burnt out with Black and White, and I thought about turning over the reins completely to them. Right now, it's like half and half. They help me, I help them. It never got to that point, but she said something that you know, she and within seconds, I brought it back. You know, she brought me back down to earth. She goes, "Hi, Sam, you are Black and White Weekend. If you stop Black and White Weekend and someone else takes it over, within one day, we're going to lose half the people that were ever involved, if not all the people, because people like you, they support you." And I'm so happy that she said that, because that was in the 8th year, and now we're on the 11th year. Awesome. And I'm still here doing it, right? So I think what you said with things happening organically, that's always been there. But yes, I mean, now's the time to take advantage of that organic, because people's attention spans are so little. But if you can combine the organic growth with the paid growth, oh man, magic can happen there, you know? And let me just say, like, there's tons of competitors in the event world and in the roofing world, right? Mm-hmm. But it's you, Patrick, and your service, the customer service that you offer, and getting your name out there through this podcast, right? That, you know, and I love talking to you. I think you're an amazing guy. I can't wait to be closer friends with you too after this.
Definitely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think it definitely, I think it all comes together and it all helps. But yeah, there's definitely a shift coming. We won't know what it is until another year or two down the road, until we can reflect on it, you know?
I completely agree. And, you know, one thing I always say on the podcast is I advise our clients, contractors out there, anybody, if you want someone to buy from you, first they got to like you. They got to like you as a person. And if they like you, they'll trust you. If they trust you, they'll buy from you. We try to overcomplicate, I think, things so much in the business world. I know I surely do. I've made the mistake of, you know, where do I want to put what kind of video and what kind of, how's it going to look, and is it perfect, and people going to judge me for it? And it sometimes can be tough to put yourself out there. But I think that there's a lot to be said for knowing who you are. And I think you mentioned this earlier. You know who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. And I think that comes through, that realism, that honesty in what you're trying to accomplish, that passion, I think comes through in your events. Rather than somebody who's just trying to force it to make a dollar or just trying to do something to make themselves look better per se. I really believe it's your passion internally that helps separate you from the competition.
Yeah, and honestly, Patrick, the older you get, the more mature you get, the more you do, I mean, hopefully grow as a person. And the person I am now compared to 10 years ago, because when I first launched Black and White, it was all about my survival. It was all about the fact that I was still living, and I wanted to be the talk of the town for personal reasons. And then after year 5, my shift completely changed. I
Right.
see the difference we're making in these kids' lives, and Emma McDonald, who's going to college now and survived far worse things than I went through. And what I went through was pretty bad back then, right? It's all coming full circle. And now I just, the passion and the checks that I cut to the charity, there's nobody after a decade of proving myself that can turn things around in a negative direction.
That's so
The
true.
first 5 years was tough. I'm not going to lie. For any business owner, the first 1 to 3 years is the toughest. But once you get over that hump and you keep going, oh man, it's amazing what you can do and continue to do.
I think you just hit the nail on the head when it comes to perseverance. It's not always going to be easy in the beginning. I heard somebody told me this the other day. It was actually someone on my team. I'm going to give Brent, my operations director, a shout out for this. We're all the time trying to reinvent ourselves, try new things for our clients. And I'm not going to say what it was, but we tried this new thing and it bombed. Okay. It just didn't do very well in the beginning. And Brent says to me, he goes, Patrick, getting this thing started is going to be just like getting a locomotive, like a train started. It takes a lot of energy right in the beginning. But once you get it going, once that train is moving, now it takes a lot less energy to get it going. He's like, we got to stick with it. We got to stick with it. And I told him, I said, I don't know, man. This is just taking so much of our time and energy to get it going. And I was dead wrong. It was a wonderful service that we were able to add to our clients. But in the beginning, it didn't go that way. It took a lot of movement to get it off the ground. And you know this more than anybody. It takes a lot of movement to get something like that off the ground like you're doing right now to get to the place where you're at. So if you're out there right now and you're thinking, man, I've been at this thing for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like we're talking about, and it's just not going, but it's your dream, it's your passion, it's what you love to do, and you're putting a great product out there, I mean, you got to stick with it. Your train is just getting going right there. You got to push yourself through that first and that beginning of the situation to get your train moving, because that's when the special stuff starts to really happen. And I congratulate you, man, because it's not easy in the beginning when you had 150 people there that were mostly family and friends. You're coming off of a sickness right there. You're not sure about the direction of life, and you push through another year, and now you've got something that is incredibly special, but nothing like that happens overnight.
And we're pushing through during the hardest year of any of our lifetime,
Absolutely.
Anyone's lifetime, and it's an incredible thing. You can't do it without supporters like you, which, by the way, man, I commend you. Your podcast is awesome. People ask me to start a podcast, but
you need to do it, man.
Yeah, I know, but you're one of them, and you're already going, and I commend you for that. So I'd rather be on your podcast than try and start when I got enough to deal with as it is.
Well, I'll make you a deal then, all right? As we get closer to May, let's have you back on, okay? I'm going to talk to some of my roofing contractors about getting involved, the ones who are local here. We got some big boys that are local here to Orlando, getting involved with Black and White Weekend. You have my word on that. My Claims Care and the Roofers Den will be involved personally with it. We believe in what you're doing. Is there anything you want to leave just listeners with about you or Black and White Weekend, or just anything in between?
Sure. I love what I do. I love you guys. I love Base Camp. I mean, think about it. We're going on this 11 years. Our goal and our motive is to finally be able to pull this off on May 15, 2021, starting at 8:30 p.m. Any and all information you need is at blackandwhiteweekend.com. And that website will basically lead you into the other events. I've got an outdoor networking event on February 2nd, followed by April the 6th, all culminating at Black and White Weekend. And if I can be there for anyone in any way after listening to this podcast with Patrick and I, know that I'm here for you. But yeah, I just want to have this event and I want you guys to be there. And I so appreciate you having me on here to relay the message to even more people.
Folks, I'm going to put his contact information below. I'll put it on the YouTube channel, Facebook, so you can get in touch and get all the details yourself if you have any additional questions. Man, I really appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on here, man.
That was awesome, man. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Have a great one. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.